Shocking news of Teofimo Lopez claiming that the only reason he lost to Kambosos and looked bad against Sandor Martin, where he got dropped multiple times during that fight, is because those two fighters were on steroids. That's what Teofimo Lopez believes, as if Jermaine Ortiz didn't take Teofimo Lopez to school the same way Sandor Martin and Kambosos did. Here is exactly what Teo had to say. Check it out.
Sandor, we just didn't expect him to be that competitive with you. And then even
Bro, they didn't even VADA. I'm gonna tell y'all straight the up. All right, these motherfuckers, and I'm actually going past my time right now. Well, you know what? Kill or be killed, right? So look, VADA, and I'm sorry to dispute this, but I don't have no track record of them. When I went to the hospital against Kambosos, all right? When I went to the hospital, guess who was in the other side of the hospital of the ER? Guess who was? George Kambosos. And you know why? To avoid the drug testing of VADA. To avoid drug testing of VADA. Sandor Martin, when I fought him and faced him, all right? They avoided the drug testing of VADA. A championship, a title eliminator, whatever you want to call it, yo. These motherfuckers are crooks. Crooks. And the next time I fight on contract is going to be with WADA or USADA. You heard? Crooks.
Nasty.
And I'm the one that got to take that. I got to be the one to take that because I was destined for greatness and I am great. All y'all got to understand one thing. These motherfuckers, all right? All these motherfuckers, they're going to get what they get. You know why? Because I always kept it true. True to the sport. True to the sport. I'm a champion's heart, man. Y'all don't understand this as deep as it gets, but they use me as a common.
So wait a minute, let me get this straight. Teo went from claiming that DAZN and Eddie Hearn robbed him when he fought Kambosos. It was a setup so Devin Haney could fight for Undisputed and unify the division. Teo went from claiming that he beat Kambosos 10 rounds to 2 or 11 rounds to 2. That's why Teo said it was a clear robbery in his own hometown. Then he went on to make the excuse that he had lung problems. He could have died when Kambosos punched him in the stomach. He missed, but if he hit him in the right location, he could have died. But Kambosos didn't miss when he hit Teo on the chin, and Teo went down in the first round, when Teo didn't have any lung problems. I mean, we can debunk the excuses all day, but let's continue. After Teo got beat, Kambosos offered him a rematch to fight in Australia, and Teo turned that down. That's how defeated Teo was. It was worse than "Do I Still Got It" version of Teo. At that time, till this day, Teo was claiming that was all a setup, so Devin Haney can make history and fight for Undisputed. Which is so funny, because Teo, who was an ESPN fighter, he fought on the DAZN network. And neither Teo or Kambosos were DAZN fighters at that time. To debunk Teofimo Lopez claims further, Devin Haney ended up unifying the division with Kambosos on ESPN, not DAZN. So everything Teo said makes no sense whatsoever. After all of these attempts to do damage control in order to save face, Teo still couldn't save face, because even during his cherry-picking tour, he ended up with 2 robberies that should have had been 2 losses, and that's against Sandor Martin, where Teo got dropped twice, and Jermaine Ortiz. Both of these guys clearly beat Teo. Fast forward till today, Teo is claiming Sandor Martin and Kambosos were on PEDs when they fought him. That's why they beat him and made him look bad. Which is so funny, because Teo was the same guy who made fun of Devin Haney when he got cheated by Ryan Garcia. Teo said he was happy when Devin Haney got cheated by Ryan Garcia. Then when we followed up with Teo about Ryan testing positive on his B sample for our strain as well, Teo didn't even want to believe it. Then he ended up not commenting on it. Ironically, now Teo is claiming Sandor Martin and Kambosos were on PEDs, but not Jermaine Ortiz, who beat him the same way. even though Kambosos and Sandor Martin never failed any test, like Ryan Garcia did, who Teo defended. Teo reasoned into why he believes both Kambosos and Sandor Martin were on PEDs is because they skipped VADA testing. Like, what? Where'd they do that at? Well, not in the sport of boxing. You don't think Ryan wanted to skip VADA testing too? Once you sign up for that, there is no such thing as showing up to the hospital in order to avoid the test, in order to avoid VADA testing. If that's the case, then Teo is guilty of that because he was in the hospital just like Kambosos was. We all know the reason why Teo and Kambosos were in the hospital is because they were in a war. They were in a tough fight that Kambosos clearly won. Now here is the catch. Here is the elephant in the room that a lot of people didn't catch. Teo said he no longer wants to do VADA. From now on, he's going to do USADA or WADA. Now here is the irony of it all. VADA actually uses WADA labs, but the key difference between WADA and VADA is that WADA does not test for all of the PEDs in the market. However, VADA does, which makes VADA more reliable. And that's why they use VADA instead of WADA. How is it possible Teo is complaining about fighters who supposedly cheated against him, but he want to take on or use a more lenient company like WADA to catch these fighters that are cheating? That makes no sense at all. Why would Teo want to use WADA, a company that doesn't test for all of the PEDs? Meaning, if a fighter is cheating and using certain PEDs that WADA doesn't test for, he can take PEDs all day and pass all of the WADA tests. If a fighter is concerned about cheating, like Teofimo Lopez is claiming, what he's gonna do is use a company as reliable as VADA or better, not worse, like Teo is doing here. The only possible reason Teo is claiming that he's no longer is going to use VADA, who is better than WADA, and he'd rather get tested by WADA, is the reason why he's hanging out with Canelo Alvarez. Recently, Teo was teasing the possibility of him signing with Canelo Alvarez if he ends up leaving Top Rank or once his contract is up. We shall see. Now, perhaps that's going to come with a computer roll package that Teo is not trying to get caught up using, like the rest of Canelo Alvarez's team that tested positive for PEDs. I mean, what a coincidence. The moment Teo started training with Canelo, teased the possibility of signing with him, now all of a sudden he no longer wants to do VADA. The same company that busted Canelo Alvarez for taking steroids along with his entire team, from Ryan Garcia to Oscar Valdez to Martinez. I guess Teo wants to join the list. That's why he wants to get tested by WADA, who don't test for all of the PEDs. Basically, Teofimo Lopez is trying to justify in his head, since these fighters are cheating and benefiting from it, like Canelo and Ryan, why can't I do the same thing? In order to even out the playing field, especially against fighters who are more gifted than me, like Devin Haney, Shakur, etc., etc., etc. And to even out the playing field against the fighters who do cheat, like Ryan, etc., etc., etc. Either way, if I was fighting Teofimo Lopez, I wouldn't fight him without VADA testing now that he's training with Canelo. Hell no to WADA when they don't test for all of the PEDs that's in the market. What sense does that make? That's like cheating one-on-one. With the opinions out of the door and the facts laid out on the table, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hey, what do you think should be the punishment for getting caught taking drugs and steroids?
Purchase something.
Well, did sample B already come out?
Yes, sir.
It did, and
Yes,
they both
sir.
came out positive?
Yeah.
You all set?
Is it true?
Yeah.
I gotta look at it before I
guaranteed.
Throw my
What do you,
thing in there.
yeah. What do you believe should happen because of the new foundings?
It's not what I believe. It's just protocol. What happens after that is a suspension. So it could be like 6 to a year, 6 months to a year, depending how lethal it was, how you know.
I hear you. No, I appreciate that.
Basically, how much of the other fighter was in danger during that time. And since everybody's saying that Haiti's not going to be the same, then that's also does something. I know about.
So
Look, I'll be honest though, the silver works.
Oh yeah. Appreciate it. Sorry, man.
I was about to say, let's say they have a rematch on even grounds. How do you think that fight goes?
Possibly the same.
I think so. Okay.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Possibly the same because it's very hard to come back and then you have cold sweats probably from that person doing that to you.